peppermint is just good overall. And the reason that it is good is because it helps with not only relaxing the smooth muscle of your gastrointestinal system, but it also helps reduce muscle spasms. Assalamu and hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope that you are all doing well. Today I wanted to talk about several over-the-counter agents or supplements that people use to aid in their digestion. In a previous video, I spoke about using your hands first, some things that cost you no money to help you not only enjoy the food, but help you digest the food better and eat slower and help you with that whole parasympathetic rest and digest process that many of us miss at times if we're not really focused and present with the food that we're eating. But I also know that sometimes we need some support with digestion. Now, if you have a more serious digestive issue in which you are being treated for with support from your medical provider or from your nutritionist, your dietitian, your nurse, then you're going to want to stick with the plan that they gave you. If you have no significant gastrointestinal disorders, then these are some things that you might want to try. Again, before you try some of these agents, I want you to first look at what you're taking currently, because oftentimes we might want to try something, but it might actually counter-interact or it might have a negative effect on what we're currently taking, and we don't want that to happen. So do yourself a favor. If you're interested in trying any of the products I mentioned today, do a little bit of research, and if it's still not clear with the guidelines, maybe the research out there is too confusing, there's too much information, you don't know where to get the primary information from, then do yourself a favor, walk into your local pharmacy and either talk to the pharmacist or the intern, which could be a student or a tech, and just say, hey, I'm interested in trying this new product. I'm currently taking X, Y, and Z. Do you know if it would be safe for me to start this product? I'm having some digestive issues and I just wanted to try this. And hopefully they can be able to give you a good answer or sufficient answer to help you on your way. Now, the agents that I'm mentioning in this video, these are things that I actually take. I myself am a pharmacist, and I don't take these agents every day. Most of them I do take every day, and I will let you know which ones those are. And for me, I take these because I have a good exercise routine. However, there's sometimes I might feel like I need a little bit more support in my digestion. I've noticed that my digestion has slowed a little bit with age, which can happen for some people. Metabolism slows down, and with metabolism, that digestion is included. So that's why I actually started to take some of these supplements. Now, you might find that your digestion is great, you're not having any issues, but at the same rate, I also want you to look at the food that you're taking. Are you eating heavy meals? Too heavy in carbs, for example, or are you overloading in your meals? Are you binge eating? Sometimes those things actually cause your digestion to be slowed. Like I said, barring no digestive disorders, so think about the foods that you're eating. I've tried to limit the number of simple carbs that I'm eating, but at the same time, I have increased the amount of protein that I'm eating, and that might have contributed to a slower digestion. Protein is broken down by protease, the enzyme protease, which is found in your pancreas, your small intestine, and your stomach. So all of that together has to be working so that you can get the benefits of your protein. And as you know, I spoke about protein on my channel before, is that as we get older, we need protein to support not only our muscle development, but our bone and our heart. The heart is a muscle. So we need that protein to help us. And we lose muscle over time. So we want to be able to not only retain muscle, but build muscle. So that's why I have increased my protein intake, but I just want to be able to digest it better so that I'm getting the benefit as much as possible. So that being said, we know that there are certain enzymes within our body that help us with digestion. I just talked about protease, which helps break down protein, but then there's also, salivary amylase that is made in the pancreas and our salivary glands that help us when we first start to eat food. And then there's also lactase, for example, that helps us break down lactose. Now, if you don't have lactase, you are known as lactose intolerant. So you are not able to break down items with lactose, including dairy, or ice cream, milk, yogurt, things of that nature. You're not able to break those down. So you might have to avoid eating dairy altogether, or you might take a supplement. That being said, these enzymes help us break down food naturally. Sometimes we might need to supplement. So the first thing that I would consider you looking into is a digestive enzyme. Now, the first digestive enzyme I have here is a digestive enzyme from my local vitamin shop. I'm not promoting any business or anything like that, but this digestive enzyme is actually good for supporting digestion of protein, carbohydrates, fat, fiber, and dairy. So this is a enzyme that's multifactorial, and it helps to break down a lot of things within our body. But one of the things I do want to say is I don't take the digestive enzyme every day. This is one that I take sparingly, but I do enjoy knowing that I am using something that is all encompassing and that it helps. So most digestive enzymes, you're going to take 2 a day or 1 a day, depends on what's the prescribed dosing on the back of the bottle. So whatever you decide to try, that is going to be what you're going to use. So again, just a basic digestive enzyme. So also this is good for gas and bloating. As I said before, it helps to break down a lot of the components within our food. So if you're ever feeling bloated or gaseous, or you feel heavy, or you're getting too full quickly, these are things that you want to consider. And again, it has all of the enzymes necessary for your proteins, your carbs, your fats, and so it's a good thing to start out with. Now, another agent that is a supplement that I buy is a prebiotic and a probiotic. So this particular prebiotic actually supports digestive health and vaginal health. It helps to restore your flora and balance your pH. This particular agent that I've used, I've only been using it for about 2 months, and I think it's been beneficial. It's been helpful for me. When I first started taking this agent, my goodness, I had so much gas, but that was because it was introducing new good bacteria to my gut that wasn't there. You know, we hear of the lactobacillus, the good bacteria, things we should normally have within our gut that might be missing. So that's essentially what the probiotics and the prebiotics are. Is they introduce good bacteria that eat the bad bacteria and that help you, at least the prebiotics that eat up the bad bacteria and that help support your gut, help you with digestion, help you extract the nutrients you need, and then eliminate the stuff the byproduct, the stuff that you don't need anymore. Now with, again, probiotics, they replenish gut bacteria, they help with your bowel movements, they also help with the lining of your gut. They help when you notice you are bloated or have gas, or for some irritable bowel syndrome. Some have noticed that it's helped with that. Again, make sure you have a complete diagnosis and you're on the right course of treatment for your particular condition. And then also with probiotics, it's known to help post-antibiotic recovery. So if you've taken an antibiotic for any type of bacterial infection, you might have experienced diarrhea, or you might notice that you're having stomach cramps and stomach aches. A probiotic is always a good choice, usually if you don't have any issues, for restoring that gut microbiome. Another agent that I want to talk to you about is betaine hydrochloride. So this agent is good for me because I have increased my protein intake. Betaine helps with digesting protein, or people who eat high protein meals. It helps to slow down the indigestion and the bloatingness that can sometimes arise from protein. That being protein from like protein shakes, protein bars, or fish, chicken, beef, turkey, and other types of poultry. So it helps with digestion, especially of protein. Now this is usually avoided in people with gastric acid reflux or high acid reflux, high GERD, for example. So one wants to be cautious of using this because it actually promotes the stimulation of more of that gastric acid secretion so that it can break down the protein more. So if, for example, I might have a low acid secretion, so this helps with that. So betaine is another thing I take every day. Actually, I take betaine every day, and I think it's been helpful, especially since I've been increasing my protein intake over the last few months. Now, another agent that I think would be helpful is magnesium. Now, I don't have the particular magnesium that is good for digestion. That's magnesium citrate or magnesium oxide. I take magnesium taurate specifically for recovery, muscle recovery, recovery, rest, and cardiovascular health, energy production, and muscle relaxation. That's what it says on the bottle here. I got this from my local vitamin shop, and I take this every day. Because I've been putting in some more work inside of the gym, I noticed that I needed to be careful of muscle recovery, especially with the breakdown and the tearing of muscle that I was doing on a daily basis when in the gym. So if you're ever thinking of a magnesium and you're unsure of what magnesium to try, I want you to check out this video here on my channel where I break down the magnesiums that are available on the market and what they're really good for. Not all magnesium is created equal. Some are better for mood and depression and anxiety. Some are better for digestion, as well as, you know, aiding with that gastric acid production to help you digest your food. And some are better for muscle recovery and for cardiovascular health. So I want you to take a look at that video so that you understand which magnesium is going to be best for you. Now, another thing on my list, and I drink this daily or weekly if I can, and I absolutely love it, is ginger. Now, fresh ginger is the best way to go. Ginger tea reduces nausea and promotes motility, gut motility. Now, this is a little packet from Trader Joe's. It's something that I'm a fan of ginger. If you haven't noticed already, I talk about ginger on my channel. I try to just get the message out there that ginger is a good herb, a root for helping you not only with your immunity, but also with your digestion and your motility. And overall, I think it's just a good thing to try to implement. Now, I put this in hot water. I add a little bit of honey. I'm not gonna lie, I add a lot of honey, and I add some lemon, which we'll talk about that another time. But I add honey and lemon to my ginger, and I drink it just like that. Sometimes I drink this plain if I want to give myself a break from the amount of sugar, because honey is a natural sugar. If I know I need to scale back a little bit, I will just drink this plain as is or with lemon. And I think this is something you should try, even if it's just fresh ginger that you're blending up or that you're juicing or that you're adding to hot water. It's a really good thing to implement into your daily or into your weekly digestive habits. So ginger is something that you should consider if you haven't already done so. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you about is peppermint. Peppermint, whether it's leaves, oil, tea, peppermint is just good overall. And the reason that it is good is because it helps with not only relaxing the smooth muscle of your gastrointestinal system, but it also helps reduce muscle spasms. And so I think peppermint, if you haven't tried it, through your tea or through your oil, adding a few drops of oil into your water, into your tea, you might want to give it a try. Now, the thing with peppermint is it's multifactorial. It also helps with freshening your breath. I had a video here in which I talked about peppermint and how it's good for, sweetening up your breath, clearing up, your breath, and adding a nice minty flavor to your breath, which a lot of people appreciate. So I want you to check out this video to see if you can find any other benefits that might be good for you in using different herbs and different products, including peppermint. Peppermint also is good for, IBS symptoms, those irritable bowel syndromes, especially pain, bloating, or urgency. And then again, you could take this as an oil, as a drop, but I want you to consider adding peppermint into your routine. If it's maybe just try out a couple of peppermint tea bags. Don't go out and buy a whole loose leaf like I did. I experiment with these and I drink these and I, try to figure out ways to incorporate them into my diet. And plus I really like fresh mint. I like fresh teas. So sometimes but my thing is, measuring out the appropriate amount can always be a little, you have to do your research to make sure you're getting the right amount, because you're taking it as whole loose leaves. So that's why I always say, try to find a good sourced tea that can help you, if you want to try peppermint, for example. Don't buy loose leaf, buy tea bags that are good source, tea bags that don't really, that are, how do I say, that don't have the plastics in them, because I know that some people are always, cautious of buying tea bags that are made of plastic, that have plastics in them. So just do your due diligence in doing that research. Try to find an organic brand, for example, and then try it from there. Try to see if this is something you might want to incorporate into your weekly habit. I hope that that the information I have given you on over-the-counter products and supplemental agents that are used for digestion have been very helpful. There are so many agents that I haven't mentioned, one of them being chamomile. I'll link another video to chamomile and how it can help with your digestion and calmness at night. And again, always be mindful of the habits. Before you start to implement different products, be mindful of your habits, including how you're eating, where you're eating, and what you're eating, especially what you're eating. It always starts with the types of foods that you're eating. Do they help with your digestion? Are they inhibiting your digestion? And then again, think about what you're doing around your food. Are you not paying attention to how you're eating? Are you multitasking when you're eating? Are you mindful when you're eating? So please do yourself a favor, look at your situation for its entirety as a whole, and then decide if these things are going to be good for you to implement. I do thank you for watching. I hope that this information in the video has been beneficial. Let me know in the comments what you would like me to talk about in the next video or upcoming videos, and I shall see you soon. Thank you. Bye.